Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Talakotur R. David. They call me TR in America. In short, it's a Talakotur Raphael David, TR David. I am not, for your information, I am not a licensed attorney to practice either in USA or in India. But I have been arguing cases both in America and in India, even before the High Court. I won cases. I went to law school in 1966, 1968 in Delhi from the Faculty of Law. Just want to give a brief description before I open my mouth about me. I'm fighting also a case in America for 37 years. I'm not going to talk about my American case. I'm going to talk about the arrest of Bishop Franco. In the media, I've been watching all the channels, Madhrubhumi, Manorama, 24, 60, all the channels. The discussions brought by them is not about Father Franco, Bishop Franco, but about the witnesses. The witnesses are crucial for the prosecution to prove a case against Bishop Franco. Whether he is guilty or not, we cannot decide without hearing the prosecution and their witnesses and the other scientific evidences that they may present to the magistrate court in Pali. Now, there is not a single word from the present media. They were only talking about the 100, not the 100. That's the problem here. Let me get to the Bishop Franco's reason for his arrest. He was charged under section 354 of the CPC for raping a nun on May 5, 2014 and May 6, 2016. The charges leveled against the bishop are section 342 of the IPC, which is wrongful confinement. Section 376, thus for committing rape, whoever except in cases provided for in subsection 2 commits rape shall be punished with a rigorous imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. That's section 376 IPC 6. So these are the sections under which the bishop is or was charged with various offences under the Indian Penal Code. The counsel for the accused, Bishop Franco, submitted papers to the court asking him be given anticipatory bail because he apprehended that there is a likelihood the police may arrest him. His application was twice denied by the court. I have a copy of the application submitted by the prosecution, by the defendants or the accused counsels. Bail application number 6927 of 2018. We are going to show you a copy of that, and also the order of the Honorable Judge Raja Vijaya Raghavan V. It's a 6-page order. Now, we do not want to find the priest guilty unless we hear or get all the evidences which are going to be submitted to the court in due course of time by the prosecution. So we cannot. The presumption under the law is one is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a shadow of doubt by a preponderance of evidence. So we don't want to convict Bishop Franco in the court of the public opinion. Okay, we have to hear what the prosecution has to say. In America, we have what is called a court TV. So all the proceedings there are recorded, subject of course to the approval of the court. In India, apparently we don't have that. So we had a jury trial system in India until Commander Nanavati was found guilty for the murder of Ahuja, who was going to this woman and raping her at her home, not raping, with the consensual sexual intercourse. So that in 1956, the jury system in India was stopped after this case. So we have to depend entirely upon the wisdom of the judge or judges and the appellate courts. So we don't want to prejudge anybody. We don't want to find the Bishop Franco guilty unless we get all the material evidences that may be presented to the Pala judicial magistrate. But let us understand the whole thing. Apparently, the present media at the moment is concentrating, as I said earlier, on the 100, not on the 100. There are so many priests who were found guilty. As recently as last week, Father Robin, who raped an underage girl, and he was found on 3 counts. Each count he has to undergo 20 years of imprisonment, which will run concurrently. It means out of 60 years, for each offense 20 years, he will have to spend only 20 years, which may be reversed, appealed, and a lot of things. In that case, if you do not know, Father Robin was raping an underage girl who was studying in one of his institutions, and the girl became pregnant and then she gave birth. Now, somebody tipped the police. In the meantime, Father Robin was about to board a plane to Canada so that he can avoid the embarrassment. They even tutored the girl's parents, the victim's parents, that she was raped by the father of the girl. And they also submitted, and the girl admitted it's a consensual sex. But it was not so. They were tutored to say so. But they were caught. The priest was found guilty, and he is now apparently languishing his time in the prison. I'm not going to talk about him. There were also priests, as recently as last week, a cardinal in America, in Washington, D.C., was defrauded by the Pope. Because the priests were using either boys or girls or both of underage for sex. Okay, so there were a lot of stories going around the world. Let us forget about what is happening in other cases. We are concerned at the moment with Bishop Franco and Bishop Franco only. But all the channels that I've been watching last 3-4 days, they talked about one is Sister Lucy Kalapura and another Sister Anuba, I don't know her full name. I haven't seen any of them, only we've been watching the television broadcast. Now, what I don't understand is why the present media in Kerala, particularly, do not say a word about Bishop Franco. Why they only concentrate on these witnesses who were located at a church in Kodak? Now, the present media talked about this Sister Lucy Kalapura going against the principles of religious life, going against the rules and constitution of the Franciscan Clarist congregation, refusal to transfer orders, publishing points in denying permission, buying a small car and agreeing to pay monthly installments from her own pocket, withholding her salary from the congregation, conducting a protest march against the bishop, taking a loan for 50,000 rupees, obtaining a driving license. How silly our present media here is. We are talking about a witness, a possible witness. So they are trying to make what is called a character assassination of one of the witnesses. Now, before going into the details, the charges as framed by the government, by the prosecution is under section 342, 376 2K, 376 2N, 376 C, A, 377 and 506 of the IPC. The questions are whether the bishop is going to be found by the criminal court after a trial is over. Now, the alleged rape took place first on May 5, 2014. Now, the bishop and his defense team knew that that is not going to fly. So it appears to me they started creating after the fact evidences to discredit the witnesses. That's the first attempt. The people in Kerala and all over the civilized world understands how lawyers manipulate things to save their clients. Bishop Franco is not a poor Catholic priest, he's a bishop, and he ran his missionary in Delhi, in near Jalandhar. Now, it appears crystal clear from the evidence that he was trying to meddle. One of the things he offered to the victim, we don't know the name of the victim, although all Malayalis, Keralites know her name. But the press and the media, they are not allowed to disclose her real name. So what we do in America, we call Jane Doe for a woman and John Doe for the man. Here the John Doe is bishop, the bishop. Jane Doe, we don't know her name, actual name. The people, although many people in the present media knew, but they are not allowed. So for our discussion, I would say Jane Doe. Jane Doe is suffering. She has been raped, according to the prosecution, as stated by them in their pleading, 15 times, not 13. 15 times she has been raped. Now, the allegations against the bishop is he also resorted to unnatural sexual intercourse with her without her consent. If it is a consensual sex, then there is no crime. If both parties agreed and then bishop walked into her room and then, if without any resistance from the woman who is superior in in that convent, then there would have been no problem. Now, if there has been a forced sexual intercourse or other unnatural offenses, then the priest has to prove by a reasonable preponderance of evidence that he didn't do it. That's the question before the court are going to be. There are several sections of the IPC. She had testified before the judicial magistrate under section 164(1) of the criminal procedure. She made a confession first. Under section 438 of the CRPC allows the Sessions Court or the High Court to grant an anticipatory bail, which was denied apparently twice. And finally, one was granted by the court has been granted bail, anticipatory bail. I have a copy of the court's order granting the bail application. Finally, that is an anticipatory bail which has technically no effect because he has been spending 24 days in the jail without the bail being denied to him. So the questions here are what is the purpose of the present the media assailing these nuns? And one of the tactics deployed by Bishop Franco or his henchmen is to divide these people who are living in Kottayam, Kuravilangad, so that they won't be able to do anything, and by separating them they can scare them or give inconsistent testimony. That's the purpose, underlying purpose. If Bishop Franco is guilty as charged under the various sections of the law, he should answer them. If he has to go to prison, he has to go, regardless how powerful, how rich he is, whether he is engaging any mafia. As I understand, the other day they brought somebody from another state and he apparently had made 6 telephone calls. We don't know all these things. This is for the police to investigate and find out whether those calls were actually from the mafia guy from Ceylon or somewhere else. So the bottom line here is the present the media is wasting their time barking on the wrong tree. Let's get some evidences. Now, all the allegations against these the witnesses, these 2 nuns particularly who went against the so-called canonical law, which says they can't do anything, they can't buy a car, they can't publish a book, they can do nothing. They are literally slaves in the convent. We are talking about the 21st century. People have the freedom of religion, freedom of speech. There are so many fundamental freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution of India to every citizen, whether he or she is a priest or a nun. That doesn't mean the local laws, the lexi loci laws cannot be denied to them, including to Father Franco. The canonical law applies only subservient to the lexi loci laws. That's the laws of India. If he is found guilty according to the Indian law, he should get the punishment. Now there seems to be a cover-up by certain interested people. I don't want to name them. You must have seen who they are, how they try to manipulate the whole thing. Whether Bishop Franco will be tried pursuant to the laws and found guilty or not. It is something going to happen in the future, not immediately. But why the present media assail the prospective witnesses? Why the church is trying to move these witnesses from their present place to different places? Isn't it a diabolical tactics to split them, divide, we can rule? It is something the present media has to re-debate. Not the 100 should be 100 by the present media. Are you hearing anything about Bishop Franco, who was sitting in jail and who is now sitting in Gibraltar with the permission to come to the police station every 2 weeks pursuant to the court's order? Nothing is said. All the attack, all the press conferences held by the various media channels is concerned with the sisters, Sister Anuva and the other one, Sister Lucy Kalapurekki. Now there were news items. The bishop tried to bribe them initially before the whole thing got out. He offered them 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs of rupees, 10 lakhs or 10 crores, I believe, 10 crores, and a place. They can have another convent started and everything. So the prosecution will be able to bring in this kind of incentives offered to the victims, not directly, indirectly through their relatives. So let's wait and see what the media, the criminal court in Pali going to do. Whether once they rendered its decision, is it appealable for an error of law? So until then, let's wait and see. Those who want to get a copy of the prosecution allegations seeking a bail, advance bail, and the court's order, they are available with me. Those who want to get a copy, of course for a nominal fee, because I have got people working for me and they have to be paid and then we have to spend a lot of time, they can send online, we will show you the details where to send the money. For a US customer, it will be 50 cents, that is $0.50. Canadian, same thing. People from other parts of the world, they can do likewise, so that we will send them copies of the orders and anything that we may get later. And those who are in the India, the nuns, priests, everybody gets this free. We have to spend a lot of time to send them, but we will send it to them. And this is not a money-making venture. This is I'm doing as a social service, but without hurting my pocket. Those who are interested in my case, which is going on 37 years in America, they have to watch the documentaries. I have several documentaries. The name of the documentary is David, D-A-V-I-D, V.S. AT&T Part 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. This case is going on 37 years in America, still going on. Now the various agencies have started investigation against what is going on. I don't want to go into the merit of that case, that is not before us. I'm only interested in the Franco's prosecution by the prosecutor and how smart we will handle the case. Anybody wants any information, they can write to me. My email address is trdavid2009@gmail.com. Those who wanted to call me from America, they can call me toll free. My number is 1-631-841-6222. That's my toll free number from the USA. Anybody from any part of America can call me free. or leave me a note or email, I will be too pleased to respond to them, although I am too busy with making a movie based on these cases. So thank you, gentlemen, ladies, and we will be talking to you as and when new opportunities come up. Thank you.